Hey everybody, Dr. Derek Alessi, and it has been so great to start seeing people again inside my building. It's been a long time. Regarding what I do, in case you don't know, my business falls between phase 3 and phase 4 of New York State reopens. As a nutritionist and as an exercise scientist and consultant, I'm able to see people in office, and I was able to do so for the past week or so. And during that time, I have met with over 41 different clients doing a bunch of things. We have been reestablishing health history. We have been updating all the medical files. We have been updating the evaluations and body compositions. We have been going over all of the different disclosures of COVID-19 and what the state is allowing us and recommending that we do to make sure that we're compliant. And lastly, we're making sure that we're setting this whole thing up from a mindset point of view to make sure that we are doing the right things. As I have been preaching, yes, it's about losing weight and dropping body fat and feeling good and moving better. Yes, it's about avoiding long-term problems. Diabetes, heart disease, stroke, Alzheimer's, cancer, all of those are at increased risk if your body fat is elevated to above obesity, which is 35% on a body fat reading scale. So anything above 35%, you have an increased risk of that. But lastly, and what I've been really focusing on and talking about for weeks, if not for months, is the effects of contracting COVID-19 and how it goes after the immune systems of people with underlying conditions. And there are so many underlying conditions, and I've been trying to outline that the most critical ones in order. The biggest one is heart disease, number 2 is obesity, number 3 is diabetes, and there's many more after that. There is kidney, and there is liver, and there is asthma, and there's autoimmune, and there's a lot of issues and a lot of problems. So clearly we want to do the right things. We want to make sure that you're having success. We're doing this safely. In my estimation, it would be careless to have any margin of error at any point. We all want to make sure that we're doing our job and doing it right. Now, I'm in my kitchen right now, and you might be asking, why am I in my kitchen? And the reason is I wanted to focus or highlight the fact that many people that come in to see me, what they've been saying to me is, I've been trying to be active, and yes, it has been more challenging without having appointments and without having a trainer and training programs all set up and ready to go. But really, when it comes to diet, if I'm in a bad place, how do I turn it around? Now, when it comes to diet and food, there are so many aspects of it, and I can talk about this for hours. And if some of you have been to some of my live events or even a consultation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's so much to this. There's almost an unlimited amount of time we could spend on nutrition. But the biggest factor, by far and away, is having success by eating the right things. In fact, let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of the 1972 Stanford marshmallow experiment? In fact, it's very well known. It goes like this. They would place a kid in a room, a child in a room, and they would put a marshmallow in front of the child, and they would say, do not eat that marshmallow. If you do not eat that marshmallow, I will come back and I will give you 2. And then, of course, the adults would leave the room and they would watch them with a hidden camera. Of course, when they came back, what were the results? Well, less than a third were able to resist the marshmallow. Why? Well, because I think it's innate in all of us. Not that kids love marshmallows. In fact, my kids would tell you like 50 things that they would like more than marshmallows. It's not that, but it was in front of them, so it was tempting. And that is something that is innate in front of all of us. In fact, it is really setting up your behaviors and your environment to have the most success. In fact, to take it one step further, in 2017, researchers went one step further, and they wrote a paper of what's so great about self-control. And they examined 151 college students, and what it turned out is the people that had the most success in getting to their goals aren't the ones that had the highest willpower or the highest self-control. It was the ones that set up and planned correctly and use less self-control, but setting up their environment and planning properly, they had no choice. So really, using less self-control can work even better. Now, lastly, when it comes to self-control, when it comes to willpower, when it comes to all of these things, it sounds torturous, and it really is. And people have asked me for years about willpower. And I honestly believe, just like that research study suggested, that if you use less of it, you're going to be more successful. Just don't have the options in front of you. It's the whole marshmallow story all over again. But in addition to that, it's like a muscle. And it's like a muscle in two ways. Number one, it does get more fatigued the more you use it. So if you're constantly in front of things or having things put in front of you, whether it's at home or whether it's at work, you're going to fatigue over time, especially as you move on later in the day and the prefrontal lobe gets tired because it's been further time since you've had it recharged with your deep sleep. That's why you're more likely to eat poorly later in the day, dinner and after, than early in the day. But number two, like a muscle, it also gets stronger with the right decisions. So when you start compounding it, and a lot of my clients tell me this, when they first start the program, when they first start to change their diet again, it's extremely difficult in the very beginning. And it is just like a muscle, just like doing the things in the gym. It is hard to do when you first start doing it. But as you do more of it, it gets stronger. It rebuilds and repairs, and it gets easier to do it yet again. Identical in so many ways to a muscle. Now, all of this being said is just really to get people in the right mindset and the right framework to make sure that we have success. Yes, it's about eating the right things. Yes, it's about doing the right training program. In fact, if you're thinking, does this whole thing with setting up the right program also have to do with willpower? And the answer is, of course it does. When you have appointments, it's the same thing. You've set your schedule properly. As opposed to saying, I have all of this home fitness equipment and I'm going to exercise at my discretion or whenever I can, or it's up to me, it's my option. It doesn't usually get done. The workout's the same as the marshmallow experiment. It's setting up the right times, the right structure, so you can just jump in your car, and it's what I tell people, as long as your tires get into the parking lot, your chances of having success go up exponentially because you have been doing the workouts. You're going to get the right mindset. You're going to get the right feedback from myself and my team. It's all critical in terms of importance. So super happy to see people again. So great to get started. Want to do this without question the right way to make sure that we have the highest level of success and safety. I'm Dr. Derek Alessi, asking you to make the most of your life and live it fit.